Thanks, Sinn Féin, for this very important motion in relation to nursing home and elder care. And there's obviously kind of viability issues in relation to the nursing home sector. And if you had the same speech 25 years ago, we'd be talking about a different composition of nursing home care. In Ireland, at that stage, it was 80% owned by the public and 20% owned by the private sector. Now that is a reverse. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for negotiation. I would say that's not a good structure. A structure that's kind of largely based on profit. And as Deputy Shortall has said, 15 companies, which are very, very large companies, huge companies that have billions of revenue, own 40% of all nursing private beds. Now that's a kind of almost a monopoly in relation to nursing home care, and I don't think that's a good structure. I mean, the Fair Deal scheme is not fit for purpose, and I think it needs to be completely restructured. We've got to see a whole. We have a different vista, and know actually how our elders want to be kind of treated in later life. Do people want to go to nursing homes? Most people don't. They want to be cared for at home. Sometimes that's not possible, but I think we should put in infrastructure where if it's possible to people to stay at home, because that's where they're happier and that's where they're kind of more comfortable. And in order to do that, you have to kind of put the infrastructure in place. Just an issue around workers' pay, Minister. I think this is crucial to this issue. You know, workers that work in this industry. I mean, you think about it, people that work in that care profession are very undervalued and underpaid. And they do the most amazing job, I think, in society. They look after our parents, they look after our friends, they look after people that we love. But sometimes they're not recognised and they're paid very, very poorly. And I think that's a kind of reflection on society that we have, where kind of people that give everything and look after, as I said, our loved ones are not kind of paid properly. I just want to kind of touch on the special committee on COVID response. That obviously gave a number of very important kind of pointers to how the structure of nursing home care is, and identified serious weaknesses in that structure. It said there was an over-reliance on institutional care for the most vulnerable in our society, and it actually stated that we should move to a publicly owned, funded model of care rather than the system that we have now. I think COVID showed a huge amount of weaknesses in nursing home care, particularly the private sector. And that's not to say the people that work in the private sector and the small owners, they do an amazing job. But there is serious kind of worrying trends how actually this is going. And others have said the small operators that kind of run as a family business, they're going to be squeezed. And in a couple of years' time, we won't be talking about 20% private, we'll be talking about probably 90%, and that 15%, the 40% of private beds will probably be double the way things are going. So there needs to be a different way we look at different things, Minister. We're not going to do it here, but I think the trend is not going in the right direction.